listening to the Underdog Sports NFL Show with host Chris Horwedel and Mario Hines. Brought to you by Underdog Sports. Each week, Chris and Mario welcome current NFL stars and discuss the biggest news from around the football world.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Underdog Sports NFL Show. I'm Chris Horwedel, joined by Mario Hines, and as we do every weekend, we're going to make our picks for each and every single game on the NFL docket this week. And we're going to start, Thursday Night Football has not been amazing this season, I will say that. And this week, let's hope it bucks that trend. The Los Angeles Rams head to Seattle to take on the Seattle Seahawks. And over at Bovada Sportsbook, they have the line at Seattle minus 1.5.
Ooh, I'm taking it. Bovada does they are who I believe in. But really, this is my last go ahead with Seattle. I've seen what they do when they're playing good football, and it's hard for me to turn away from that. And I think that they will eventually rise to be one of the top 4 teams in the NFC, and I think it has to start now. So Thursday Night Football, why not go in Seattle?
So transitive properties here. Do you not believe in the Rams? That would be fair, by the way. It's
not that I don't believe in the Rams. I just think what happened to them on Sunday is going to take some figuring out, and I think they don't have short week. They don't have the time to figure it out against this quality team, a good team like Seattle, who. Yes, now transitive property kicks in. I think is actually going to use this week to get over the hump to steady their rise as a top 4 team in the NFC.
I'll tell you what, I tuned into that game a little bit late, a lot late in the fourth quarter, as a matter of fact. And when I put it on, I was like, oh man, Goff must be having just a heck of a game. Look at how well this offense is performing. And he's got 517 yards. And then I see, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions and just not playing all that well. Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. I mean, I do, and it's that it's leveling off. And that, and that, I mean, in the playmaking, like the scheme is what makes Goff go from adequate to top half, top 15, maybe top 12 quarterback in the league. And the system is not working because you need that dynamic slashing back. I don't know if you need the slashing style, I'm sorry, but you need that dynamic back that can give you at least consistent 4.5 a carry and catch the ball out the backfield. Again, making it hard to leave the box so that they can get that lateral stuff going and then those mid-tier midfield passing game going.
Yeah, 68 attempts for Jared Goff, the third most all-time, tied with George Blanda and the great John Kitna. I remember when Kitna threw 68 times against the Steelers back in 2001. That is not a recipe for success. We talked about the Bengals a little bit earlier on the last show. That's having Kitna fling the ball 68 times is not how you're going to get your win. Mario Hines, do you know who holds the NFL record for the most pass attempts in a single game?
It's got to be Matt Stafford at this point.
Because I am surprised. Where's Matt Stafford on this list?
If you're surprised, it's not Matt Stafford.
It is not. Stafford ties for 15th all time with 63 passing attempts in a game against the Chicago Bears in 2011. He also had 61 against the Texans in 2012.
Yeah, I know he had another 60 game, yep.
The all-time leader is, I will tell you this, and this should probably give it away. An injury to this player kickstarted one of the greatest careers that we've ever seen at the quarterback position.
Drew Bledsoe threw the most passes in the game?
Drew Bledsoe threw the ball 70 times for those New England Patriots back in 1994 against the Minnesota Vikings.
Can you believe that in the 90s there was a game, an NFL game, where a quarterback threw the ball 70 plus times in the running era?
Yeah. Right, exactly. So, okay, I'm going to ask you this. How many points do you think the Patriots scored on those 70 passing attempts?
Oh, they probably scored like 17. They were playing from behind for forever.
You're very close. They ended up with 26 points in an overtime affair.
Oh, wow. So it was actually a close game. So it was on purpose throwing that many passes.
I mean, it's hard to do that by accident.
Was that
It's hard.
Who was the coach then? Was that Pete Carroll?
That was Bill Parcells.
Bill Parcells. Okay.
Bill Parcells against Denny Green's Minnesota Vikings.
Wow, nostalgia winning over right now.
Yeah, that was a quarterback room that included Warren Moon, Brad Johnson, and Sean Salisbury.
Sean Salisbury. How you doing, my friend? Wherever you are.
I believe he's selling cars in Des Moines, Iowa, is my guess. But don't know that for sure. And no offense to Sean Salisbury. Actually, I mean, chances are he's a broadcaster on some network covering some level of college, some level of football, because it seems like that's where everybody ends up.
Yes.
All right. Second game, the Arizona Cardinals travel to Cincinnati to take on those Cincinnati Bengals. Bovada has the Bengals -3.
This is a tough one only because both these teams really stink.
They do. They sure do.
But I think the Cardinals actually look better than the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go Cardinals here.
Yeah, that's not a really high bar to climb over, but you're probably right in that they look better than the Bengals. How long does Cliff Kingsbury have a job in Arizona?
Strangely enough, call me crazy. I'm probably one of the few people that believe this, especially based on how this season's going to play out for Arizona.
Uh-huh.
I think he has 2 years.
Well, I mean, they're not going to fire him after this year, regardless of how poorly they do. But yeah, if they don't improve next year, he's got to go. And specifically, Kyler Murray improves significantly next year. And boy, that's going to be an interesting situation for a new coach to find himself in, because Kyler Murray is a very specific type of quarterback.
Oh my gosh! Imagine the coaching search. It'll. This might give us one of the unreal stats of our time with how many first round quarterbacks are selected within a 5-year span.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is one coach out there who makes a lot of sense for Kyler Murray if you're looking for a new head coach.
Oh, you say this every head coach opening.
Well, I mean, I first of all, I think that man is, and of course, talking about Rich Kotite, is the best non-NFL head coach out there in the world right now. I fully believe in Lincoln Riley. And I mean, look at what he did at Oklahoma. If you're Arizona and you think you can replicate that success for your organization, you're going to pay him a lot of money if you think he can do that for the Cardinals.
No, that's true. That's true. That's legitimate. And
look at what he's done for Jalen Hurts.
I was gonna say that was gonna be like if I have any argument against, it was eliminated by what the heck Jalen Hurts is doing so early in the season with Oklahoma. It looks like he's figured out something. He's tapped into the time-space continuum and figured out the one thing you need to figure out as an offensive coach, and it's happening. So I give you that.
Yeah, Hurts got moved to wide receiver for Alabama, and there's a really good chance he wins the Heisman playing quarterback at Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley.
What a switcheroo, but
it's crazy.
Jeez. Yeah.
It's good. Some people can coach football, and Lincoln Riley's one of them.
He is one. He's here to do that, right?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how long he is in college, and I will keep touting him for every non-Dallas Cowboys opening until he gets his position in the NFL. And you have to think that is going to be his choice entirely. If a team has a head coaching opening, they're going to reach out to him.
Yeah, definitely, and I look forward to hearing about your 3% kickback as hard as you're working to get him employed.
Hey, for what that guy's going to make, I'll cut it down to 1.5 if that gets the job.
True.
Done deal. All right. The Atlanta Falcons travel to Houston to take on the Houston Texans. Bovada has the Texans -5.
So this is what I knew. I could see the writing on the wall with this Falcons team. And, now the Texans have a chance to be who they need to be in a very, very soft AFC South. So I'm going to take the Texans here to continue to grow and be ready for this second quarter of games. And the Falcons continue to downslide, and I think they're going to be close to dismantling what they have going on pretty soon.
Yeah, it hurts me to say this as a fan of a team that lost to the Falcons this season, but they just look bad.
I don't know what they want to do. It's to the point where Quinn, it looks like Quinn is losing his guys. And now one of those things, I mean, it typically happens. The quarterback gets the brunt of the responsibility, and it's not the first time Matt Ryan will get that, but it's looking like the fans are turning on Matty Ice now, and like just recipe for disaster for a team to climb out of a hole like this.
Could Ryan turn into the next iteration of Joe Flacco in that he's sort of a surprise decision for the team to move on from him, and then he ends up as a stopgap only to have the fans of that next team just clamoring for the next guy to take over?
He actually follows that trajectory pretty to the T, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. And it's happening sooner than we could think. And when they didn't get that Super Bowl loss to New England is going to echo in eternity. I'm telling you,
it broke them.
Yep.
I don't know what happened, but it broke this Atlanta Falcons team. All right, this game I'm really interested in because we're going to find out who both of these teams are, I think. The Baltimore Ravens travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bovada has the Steelers +3.5.
I don't think we're that far off on what the Ravens are. I think I was highly surprised at how quickly the Browns bounced back. I expected it and said it on last show that they're actually going to get back in line and be closer to what we expected than not. I just didn't think it'd be at the hands or at the expense of the Ravens. And I think the Ravens were a little bit surprised too. And I think they wake back up. The Steelers, their win, as clean as it looked against that Cincinnati Bengals team, was just that, against the Cincinnati Bengals. So I think the Ravens get back to form, after the Chiefs game. I think you still start to think that, teams are going to look at you like that top team in the North, and you actually have to earn it week in, week out, especially with the young group of offensive players that they have to learn how to bring it every week. So I think even though they haven't looked bad, but the consistency has to be there, and I think they bring it back for this week to win over the Steelers.
Looked bad last week.
Relatively though, right?
I guess, but they looked inept. They looked like the offense wasn't there. The only plays they made were a couple of big shots that rushed them down the field pretty quick. I guess one sustained drive, but they just I am shocked. I thought the Browns would have a chance to win that game. I didn't think they were going to do it like they did.
Right, and I'm giving more credit. I continue to give more credit to the Browns than take away from the Ravens. But no, I'm with you. I think that because the bar was so high for Baltimore, and then being able to do that against Kansas City, I think we're actually like appalled and a little disgusted that they lowered their game so much against Cleveland and not able to win a game that, if you're actually in that echelon where you're rivaling the Chiefs in terms of AFC representation, you win that game against the Browns. And I think it's a little bit on us to say, all right, this team is still very young on the offensive side of the ball.
Tell you this right now, if the Steelers win this game, I officially have no clue about this division at all. I'm completely confused. I know the Bengals are terrible. I don't know who's going to win it, though.
Right. So also I am saying this about the Ravens winning to just maintain my sanity. So yes, I don't want to have to figure out what's going on with this division, but also I think the Ravens bounce back in a real way. So the Steelers, They're done. They're done. They can win against the Bengals. They're still done.
The Bengals and the Dolphins and that like of the Broncos of the world, but against real teams, it will be a whole different ball game. Let's move on to Chicago, where those Bears travel to Oakland to take on the Oakland Raiders. Bovada has the Raiders +6.
Oh, those surprising Bears shutting me smooth up. But I think more so, we'll get to this the other team they played. I think it was more of that than the other way around, because the offense did exactly what we thought they'd do, maybe a little better with Chase Daniel. He gets a second act against the Raiders. And I think actually, dare I say, the offense looks better because it's a little bit more sustainable and predictable in the good way. Whereas when you run get a play called, it's going to go the way you expected it to go as a coach. And that usually helps everyone on that side of the ball. And it's against the Raiders, who are trying to find their guided light, but I have a hard time believing in. So I'm going to take the Bears here.
Yeah, sorry, Bears fans. This is not the kind of thing you want to hear, but when outlets like Pro Football Talk are openly asking, are the Bears better with Chase Daniel at quarterback than the guy they took number 2 overall in the draft a couple years ago, that's an organization without direction.
Yeah, it is. And I don't think it's for anyone to try to put the pieces together for them. I think, it's time for whatever's going on over there for somebody to figure it out. And it's not for us to do. But what I can say is that it's a mighty big fall from, the expectations or I guess the noise that was coming from training camp. So, figure it out. I don't know. It's got to be figured out what to do at the quarterback position too.
Well, speaking of what to do at the quarterback position, the Jacksonville Jaguars head to Carolina to take on the Carolina Panthers. Bovada has the Panthers -3.5.
Man, I mean, this Allen kid, I guess, is
Kyle Allen?
Is that who we're putting our belief in against Minshew?
Yeah, would not have guessed that that's what we were talking about when the season started. That this game would be Kyle Allen versus Gardner Minshew, but here we are, and that's just the unpredictability of the National Football League, I guess.
It really is, but you know what Carolina did bring that I think Bovada is actually counting in big time is that performance by McCaffrey. He is living up to every standard we've put on him and continues to raise the bar for himself. And I think that's the catalyst, the big play, the difference maker that the Jaguars didn't have to see last week. So I'm going to trust our friends and go with the Panthers.
Are you a little worried about 37 touches for McCaffrey last week?
I don't know, because he's one of those guys that knows how to take shots, meaning that I don't think he takes as many high impact shots as one who would get that many touches, a different style of player. Like he falls quote unquote correctly. He avoids taking big shots. So I'm not too concerned. I think he actually relishes it and builds his game around it.
All right, 37 touches is still a lot, though.
It's still a lot. I hear you. I hear you.
All right, the Minnesota Vikings travel to New York to take on Daniel Jones and those New York Football Giants. Bovada has the Giants +6.
I saw so many Danny Dime tweets. So many tweets. And you know what, Chris?
Such a dumb nickname, too. Such a dumb nickname.
It's so bad. And I was just reading them and smiling because what is going on? He's really, really playing good football. And like I said, I don't know why, but Kirk Cousins is falling fast. And
he is. He really
making me
is.
upset because they have pieces. And check downs on 3rd and long. And it's like, are you trying to win the game? And I think he's a little bit too in his own head and not in the cliche, the game is moving too fast way. But I think he thinks he really knows what he should be doing all the time, to the point where, like, take the safe play, and it's becoming, Alex Smithish. There's a name for you. So I think because I'm so disgusted with what the Vikings did last week, and I really thought that the run game would be able to sustain what's going on, but it doesn't look like it. They can, and Kirk isn't helping. I'm going with my man Danny Dimes and the New York Giants to win over the Minnesota Vikings this week.
How rough a game was that last week for first-year quarterbacks? Washington versus New York. That Haskins and Jones combined for, 1 touchdown and 5 interceptions?
I mean, we talked about this too, but like throwing Haskins in the fire at that point, like it's really like, hey man, hopefully your jersey sells because as far as football goes, like I don't know what you want the kid to do. He tried his best, and then Jones himself has some issues before he realized he was playing the Redskins and he could just relax and make some plays. So it was definitely like the rookie quarterbacks of old when you throw him in and it's like, oh, turnover. He shouldn't make that pass. Come back out. The other guy ones up him with the even worse turnover. So tough to watch, but I'm glad they're both actually getting their touches now. It's time to usher the new echelon of quarterbacks. I'm ready for it.
Well, this is just the way the National Football League goes now. And you're right about rookie quarterbacks making stupid throws. We all remember on Sam Darnold's first pass attempt as a professional, he threw a pick six. And you learn from that stuff. These aren't teams that had playoff aspirations coming into the season. The Giants actually, they look halfway decent. They look like they'll be competitive. They're not even ruling Saquon out this week, which I think is crazy at this point. He was at practice running and cutting today, just a couple weeks after the high ankle sprain. That guy might not be human.
He's a maniac.
Yeah, it's really nuts. But yeah, I don't know. Can't worry too much about it. And the other side of that quarterback duo right there is in our next game. The New England Patriots travel to Washington to take on the Washington Redskins. So it looks like this line got taken down right now because I guess we don't know who the quarterback is going to be in Washington. But prior to that, Bovada had the Redskins by plus 16.
Yeah, so I'm going to take that line. The Pats did. We got it out the system. I could see it coming. The Bills is usually the team that they do that with. They're all good. And Bill Belichick's quote, I'm paraphrasing here and saying that the Redskins are a good team and they know what they're doing, or a well-coached team and they look to know what they're doing, is code for I can't wait to get my team back out there on Sunday and whoop some ass. So take that line, take the Pats.
Yeah, I wonder who the quarterback is going to be. Keenum's not practicing. McCoy and Haskins are apparently both potential starters this week. We shall see who gets beaten up on by the Patriots. Our next game, I don't feel great about this one. I don't feel great about any Philadelphia Eagles game, but there's some aspects about this that concern me. The New York Jets travel to Philadelphia to take on the Philadelphia Eagles, and Bovada has the Eagles minus 13.5.
My friend, can I just ask?
Yeah.
Why, like, where you guys are at now. It's not like you guys are. Go ahead.
There's a decent chance you and I are starting at cornerback in 2 weeks. It's like 50-50 at worst.
But isn't this the game where you can at least say, like, okay, we can play some quality football, get out healthy, fingers crossed, and continue to work to, this is the game. This is the Jets. This is the game. Going with the Eagles.
I know, but Darnold was back at practice, hasn't been cleared for contact yet. There's still an issue about whether or not the spleen is going to go along with their wishes to allow him to play. But I'm actually surprised there's a line on this game, given that there's uncertainty around Darnold.
Yeah, well, we got to think of it this way: with or without. Let's with in that anticipation, or that when he's inserted into the lineup, they're not the team that quote unquote doesn't skip a beat.
Yeah.
So. And actually, and I go on records to say, like, they will be a better team. Le'Veon Bell, I think, and Darnold will help each other be better players in that situation, of course, right? But I do. So I'm not saying that with, like, this is the ridiculously bad Jets team. But again, this team will not not miss a beat. So, it's going to take a minute to get the wheels turning for this Jets team. It needs to happen quick. It needs to happen quick, but it won't happen as quick as anyone would think. He's not going to solve what we've seen in the first three games that have them winless.
Well, just for the record, I'm calling jersey number 31 when we get into the lineup. So that's official right now.
They target guys like 31, so go for it.
Hey, Al Harris. If Al Harris could wear it, I can wear it. I don't even know what that means. Okay, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to New Orleans to take on the New Orleans Saints. Bovada has the Saints -3.
Wow, the Saints. Bravo to these Saints, man. Like I didn't expect them to do what they did against Dallas. And now here we go with the Buccaneers, who I didn't expect to do what they did at any point in the season on Sunday. And I think they both come back to earth a little bit, and that's still in favor of the Saints. Teddy Bridgewater is doing the best he can. Alvin Kamara is ready to explode against this Buccaneers defense, and that's what will happen. Mark my words. We're going Saints here with the line.
The Denver Broncos head to LA to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers -6.5 per Bovada.
I mean, yeah, Broncos starting over. Chargers, it's that time. They got the first 4 games. I'm to my understanding, playing as limited and safe to the chest, close to the chest as possible to stay healthy, even though it's not working with 3 healthy wide receivers. But Phillip Rivers is healthy. I'm going with the Chargers.
The Green Bay Packers head to Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys. Bovada has the Cowboys -3.5.
One would typically think this is the bounce back game for the Cowboys. I think it's the bounce back game for the Packers. So I'm going Packers here. Cowboy Nation, be ready for 2 straight losses and trying to figure out what's going on in Dallas. Give me Green Bay.
I love it. Nothing would make me happier. The Indianapolis Colts, assuming we don't lose to Luke Falk and the Jets, the Indianapolis Colts travel to Kansas City to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Bovada has the Chiefs -11.
Ooh, the Chiefs. What an impressive win against my guys. What an impressive win.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Going with the Chiefs. I don't even want to talk about them. They're just, right now, they are the best team in football. Going with the Chiefs.
And, by the way, could very well be getting Tyreek Hill back this weekend.
Oh, don't say more. Don't say more.
Sorry, buddy. Well, if it's any consolation, Patrick Mahomes is the only player in NFL history to be markedly worse in a dome. So that bodes well for you in the future.
That's true.
And our Monday night affair here, I will be there in attendance. The Cleveland Browns head to San Francisco, Santa Rosa, to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Bovada has the 49ers -3.5.
Ooh, the 49ers are getting a lot of love, man. A lot of love. I'm going to keep sticking with the Browns, meeting the expectation, continuing to grow 1 game at a time, Mr. Kitchens. Coach Kitchens, and I think the 49ers are not going to remain undefeated. They've had their fun. It's time to experience the first loss. Going with Cleveland.
Nothing would make me happier. No, some things would make me happier, but I would be pleased with that outcome. It's gonna be a long drive home if the Browns lose.
Yes, and I for one, think that might play some motivation. Like Freddie Kitchens is bound to say anything to these guys, and also Baker Mayfield is, I think, willing to use anything to keep that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, help a brother out, Freddie. Because I'll tell you what, that's a Monday night game. That is it's an 8:15 start. If the Browns lose, I'm calling you, and you and Alexa can just talk about Married at First Sight on the ride home, because I don't want to listen to the Browns are bad again.
I also made that pick for you as well.
Thanks, buddy. All right. Well, those are our picks for this week. As always, follow them and get rich. We absolutely guarantee it. No guarantees. For Mario Hines, I'm Chris Horwedel. Thanks for listening, and we will see you back here next week.